everyone. Welcome to the legal platform. My name is Sani. Uh, in our previous episode, we discussed about choosing the right business structure, and we thank God Almighty that session was very, very informative. We received positive responses, and today we are going to be discussing: is bail practically free in Nigeria? Because obviously there have been a lot of concerns as to whether bail is free or not in Nigeria. So today we are going to be having that tough conversation as to whether suspects are supposed to pay any fee before they are being released, or what other hidden fees are there before a person can secure a bail and have the rights to his personal liberty. And on today's session, we are going to be having Barrister Atairu Haruna. He will be our guest for today. We are waiting for him to join us shortly by the grace of God. So while he joins us, it's important that we give a brief background about what bail is generally. And for our viewers to have a better perspective and first-hand information as to what we are going to be discussing. Bail is a right guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by virtue of Section 35 of the Constitution, and it is an offshoot of the right to personal liberty. It is the right granted to a suspect while he's in the custody of any arresting officer, agency, or granted by the court to allow a suspect or an accused person to have the right to his personal liberty pending his before he's charged to court, if he's still in an agency of government, police, DSS, or any other organization, any other law enforcement agency that has the right to arrest. So, or it is granted by the court pending his trial or after he has been convicted pending his appeal. So it is a right for him to enjoy his personal liberty pending his investigation is concluded with the police. But the question that always keeps popping around is, okay, just a minute, please. We are trying to connect with Haruna. Check the. Thank you so much, Saifullah Kabir Adamu. We are waiting for the guest speaker to come. By the grace of God, he will soon join us. So we're trying to connect him. Okay. We are trying to add, okay, yes. Okay. Our guest speaker will join us shortly. Yeah, our guest speaker has joined us. And Barrister Haruna. Good evening.
Good evening. It seems you're having a bit of
your audio is not audible enough.
Your audio is not audible. Okay, I'll work on it shortly. Just give me a few
seconds.
Okay, can you put on your earpiece?
Can you put on your earpiece?
So we can start the session.
Now we can start the session.
Okay, can you speak
Okay, can you
so that we
speak?
can hear you?
Please, so that we can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Mr. Haruna, can you hear us?
Mr. Haruna, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it seems we can't hear you.
Yeah, but it seems we can't hear you from our end.
Sorry, give me.
Okay, he's probably is having a little bit of a network issue. We'll be waiting for him. Let me see if we can add him again. He's having a bit of a difficulty with his network. Okay, all of us are loud and clear. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, he's joining us now.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, the audience, can you hear Mr. Haruna? Please, if you can hear him, kindly indicate if you can hear Mr. Haruna.
Mr. Haruna.
Okay, Barrister Haruna, it seems you can be heard clearly.
Yes,
okay, fine.
I can hear.
By the grace of God Almighty, we will commence the session now. Barrister Haruna, welcome to the legal platform.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Could you please, we are starting the session now, so it's not, we don't want to make it too formal. We want everybody to understand us. And it's important for us to have an understanding that this session is for ordinary Nigerians. Please, Barrister Haruna, keep all your law language aside. You understand? So let's just have our audience understand what we are discussing. So please, could you kindly introduce yourself and tell us your area of expertise in the legal profession, please?
Okay. My name is Atairo Abuna Abdelkader. First, before going into the introduction, I would like to say a very big thank you to the organizers, the persons in charge of the legal platform for finding me worthy of your invitation. Thank you very much. My name is Atairo Abuna Abdelkader. Thank you very much.
Okay. Then let's delve into the session properly. Can you please, for the purpose of our audience, can you please explain bailies and the types of bail we have currently in Nigeria?
Okay, so going into the conversation properly, before going into the types of bail and what we need to first understand what we mean by bail. Bail simply is a release of an individual, whether a suspect or an accused or defendant, from incarceration, whether with some conditions or without conditions, but usually we have them released on conditions. Now, so it is just a temporary release of a suspect or a defendant from incarceration pending investigation of the police or the security agencies involved, or pending the determination of the trial of that particular accused or defendant before the court. So simply put, bail is the release of a person, whether a suspect or a defendant, pending investigation of the police or determination of that person's case in court. That is simply what bail is. Now, we have two types of bail, basically. We have the administrative bail and we have the court bail. The administrative bail is the bail that is usually granted to a suspect in the course of investigation, either by the police, the DSS, whoever is involved in the investigation of the suspect. This is also called police bail. So this is the bail granted to a suspect at the point of investigation by the security agencies involved, while the other one is called the court bail. This bail is granted to a defendant. Notice the change in nomenclature. The first one is a suspect, but in this case, court bail, it is a bail granted to a defendant pending the determination of the suit, the charge against that particular defendant. So these are the two types of bail we have: administrative or police bail and the court bail.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a brilliant introduction. Thank you so much for that. Now, Vice Haruna, can you give us a precise procedure of how, because you have given a fantastic background as to what bail is and the types of bail we have currently. So can you give us like a synopsis, a concise overview of how an individual can secure a bail in a Nigerian police station? A concise overview.
Okay. First, a lot of suspects make a mistake of going into the police station or any security agency's offices without consulting a lawyer. That is a big mistake, actually. Many times when you go into these places, what they do is they give whoever the suspect is, they give them statement forms where they also write their statements, where they write whatever transpired in the case that probably brought them to the police station. Now, in the course of sometimes the intention of calling these people to inviting these people to the police station is many times for the purpose of detaining them while they carry on their investigation. So it is first a mistake to appear before the policeman without going with a lawyer. Now, we have seen cases where people appear before policemen or security agencies, any kind of security agencies, and unfortunately have not even informed the necessary persons of their whereabouts. And in the end, they end up being detained by these security agencies, and they are not able to quickly secure the assistance of persons crucial to their release. Now, the process at the police station usually is that when suspects walk into the police station, they are given these statement forms where they write their statement, and after that, they are put behind counters. And once they are put behind counters, it becomes more difficult to secure their release. Now, when a lawyer comes in or the family members come in, they start to trade words with the policemen, trying to persuade them to release the suspect. And in the course of that, a lot of monies are spent just to ensure that they secure the release of this suspect. Now, at the end of the day, when you attempt to secure the release of this suspect, they let you know that the government does not provide for them even statement form. Even when you walk in as a complainant, you have to buy statement form. Sometimes 3,000, sometimes 5,000. So now imagine how difficult it will be to secure bail. Now, when they give you the bail bond, the form to fill for bail, they would insist that you either pay 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, depending on the magnitude of the case involved. So usually that is what happens even when lawyers get involved, honestly. Even when lawyers get involved, these monies are paid.
Okay, that's brilliant. That's a brilliant one, Barrister Haruna. I think you have given the practical aspect of how these bail intricacies are, especially when it comes to the statement form, the bail bond, and most importantly, the point you made with regards to people going into the police station to honor a police invitation without going with a legal practitioner. That is a very, very important point. Because honestly speaking, there are a lot of people that are falling victims of this, what's it called? Shortfalls. It's good people just get a lawyer. Forget about the cost it will. Some lawyers can start to even do it pro bono for you. You understand? So I think you have
Of
given
course.
thank you so much for that. So Barrister Haruna, just like I said, we're having conversations with Nigerians. But even at that, Nigerians need to know that, okay, fine, we are talking about bail. Are there laws in Nigeria that actually guide the issue of bail in Nigeria? Are there existing laws in Nigeria that talks about bail?
Oh, of course, there are. The first law and the ground norm of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the 1999 Constitution, I spelled it out clearly that persons suspects should not be detained beyond 24 hours, where the distance of a court, where the distance between the police station and the court is no more than 40 kilometers. So the incarceration period should not go beyond 24 hours. Now, in another case, where the distance between the court and the police station is more than 40 kilometers, the law says that you give them at least 48 hours within which they will charge the suspect to court. So, in any case, or within any time reasonable in the eyes of the court. Now, in any case, which means suspects are not supposed to be kept beyond 48 hours or any such time that is reasonable in the eyes of the court.
That's very good, Barrister Haruna. You have made a very, very valid point. You see, this issue of keeping people in the police station for a long time, I don't know how we are going to come about it, but at the end of the program, I think you are going to give us, what's it called, informed opinion and recommendation as to what you think should be the way out with respect to keeping people in the police custody. But let's come to a very crucial issue. You have laid the foundation as to how a bail can be secured in a police station. Now, Barrister Haruna, is there any particular fee that I am supposed to pay as a, for example, I'm a suspect and I've been arrested, and probably my client comes or my guardian comes or my parent comes or any person that wants to secure my bail? Is there any fee that any law in Nigeria said a suspect must pay 10,000 or 30,000 naira before you release him? Oh, police officers, he must pay. Oh, and if he pays, you should issue him a receipt that he has paid for his release. Is there any law? And if there is, please provide. And if there is none, then tell us what we should do when we are asked to pay for a money that a law has not provided for it. Thank you so much.
Okay, first, I believe, moderator, you can remember the lies we heard as children. We still hear them, that India beats Nigeria 99-1. Today, in Nigeria, bail is free. Everybody knows that bail is free. But the truth of the matter is practically bail is not free. By law, the bail anybody is applying for or should be getting from the police or any security agency is free, totally free. But practically, it is not. And as such, I would not say that bail is free, because practically it is not. So anybody that tells us that bail is free, no. Bail is actually not free. By law, it is free, but in practice, it is not. And there is what we should do as individuals. Unfortunately, we are not doing is to demand, whenever this issue of bail comes up, is to demand not to pay a dime in order to secure bail. But unfortunately, how many people can endure the incarceration if they don't pay? So it is this desperation that allows people to pay for bail. It is this desperation also that allows lawyers to watch and even encourage their clients to pay, because the lawyer is more interested in the results. And the result at that particular moment for the client is to be out of incarceration, irrespective of how. So it becomes a bit difficult for even lawyers to discourage clients from not paying, because if they don't pay, the process of even securing remedies is quite cumbersome and long. So the best lawyers do is to advise clients to pay this sum, though illegal, pay this sum and then be free.
Okay, thank you so much for that point. You see, I love the fact that you made it clearly that practically bail is not free, but constitutionally it is free. But I believe you are a lawyer, and you have the right to protect the law, just like every citizen in the country. How is it possible to implement the free regime of bail in Nigeria? Constitutionally, bail is free. Is it practically possible to implement that provision that or cliche that bail is free and constitutional? Is it possible for us to implement it, or it is not, in view of some certain circumstances surrounding the policing, the prison cells, the procedures, lack of equipment of the police officers? What is your opinion on that, Barrister?
I think it is possible to actually have an expenses-free bail regime. Practically, it is possible. However, just as every other aspect of the Nigerian society, we have the Nigerian factor dealing with all of us that makes it very difficult for us to conquer this kind of problems. It is quite unfortunate, but we have it. We have this rather reliable information that even the police is not well funded. If the police is not well funded, then it becomes difficult for them to actually do some things that ordinarily ought to be free, to do them for free, because they are poorly funded. So the Nigerianness in all of us, for us to get our systems to work, like this particular one, we have to renew our mindset and then put square pegs in square holes, and not round pegs in square holes. Until we do that from the top down to the bottom, then we cannot be able to get it right.
Thank you so much for that balanced opinion. I love the fact that you beat here and you beat here, and you make a balanced conclusion. That's very good of you, Vice Aruna, and I believe our viewers are having a lot of questions to ask, and I think the comment section is there. If any viewer has any question to ask with respect to what we are saying or what we have been discussing, what have been said, he can just write a question below. So, Vice Haruna, I believe there are a lot of crimes that have been committed, and I believe there are several punishments for them. And I believe to some extent there are there are some offenses that are grievous that I think bail might not be granted or bail might be granted. So in view of this background or foundation, are all criminal offenses bailable in law? Can we secure bail for all crimes, or there are certain crimes that there are no good areas that we can secure bail for them?
Thank you very much. There are actually some crimes that are considered not to be bailable, and these are the crimes that carries capital punishment, that is death sentences. So when it is a capital offense, then we cannot say that the offenses are bailable offenses. Now, such kinds of offenses include armed robbery, murder, all offenses that the punishments are death sentences. You cannot ascribe the right to secure bail to them. However, the other offenses you can apply for, they are bailable offenses, so long as they are not capital offenses. And even the capital offenses, there are some circumstances that might warrant the grant of bail, though it is left for you to now establish those circumstances before the court. But generally, capital offenses carrying capital punishments are not bailable.
Thank you so much for that. On a final note, I will want you to give us recommendations to the Nigerian police, law enforcement agencies, arresting agencies, agencies that can have the responsibility or what's it called, the right to arrest, and also the Nigerian citizens as to what they need to know when they are being arrested, and if they are asked to pay a certain amount of money to secure bail, what they need to do at that particular time. Can they stand up for their right, or they can just pay the money in view of the desperation you have said? I want you to give a suggestion or recommendation as to the best way to respect the law while also not putting yourself in harm's way as regards to the arresting officers. Thank you.
Strong statement with respect to administrative bail. Now, this can be done. There is a provision under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, I think Section 32, that allows somebody who has been incarcerated to bring an application to court for the incarcerating agency to show cause why that person should continue to be in detention. Now, in this kind of application, it now behoves on the court to make strong statements and to ensure that this kind of applications, if not frivolous, are granted. The more these applications are granted, the more the police or any investigating agency is informed that once you incarcerate somebody beyond 24 hours or 48 hours, as the case may be, this person can simply bring an application in court, and as soon as possible, the court grants the application and makes strong statements against the organization. So at the end of the day, the court might not directly punish you, but it is punishing you because your reputation is going, and you don't want to be known for that. So if people are able to explore this kind of opportunities, and the court is ready to assist people and enforce these provisions, then it becomes easy for citizens to not pay. Because if I am choosing not to pay, I must be sure that there is an alternative for me. Now, that alternative, is it practicable? Yes, it is, if our courts make it practicable. Just like the fundamental right enforcement. You can come under the fundamental right enforcement. But the truth is, when a pronouncement is made by the court, if you get monetary compensation, is it easy for you to enforce? Can you easily garnish the police account? Can you actually pay for the cost of instituting a fundamental right action? These are factors that make it difficult for people to now go through the legal process. Rather, they go through the other process of having to pay. However, all these things can change, and I will attach it generally to the Nigerian mindset. It is unfortunate that as a policeman or any security agent, you would incarcerate somebody knowing fully well that that person did not do anything, or even what that person did, that person deserves to go. you can investigate the matter without the presence of that person in custody. But still, because you have the power with you, the Nigerian nation punishes the person because that person is not able to bring 40,000, 45,000. So generally, it is a Nigerian issue that has to be tackled from our mindset. But the court should be ready to assist. And once the court is ready to assist, then we shall be having citizens who are ready to pursue their rights under the law.
Thank you so much for that honest opinion and what was it called, balanced suggestions. One of our viewers have a question. He said, what can a person do if denied bail on a bailable offense? I will repeat the question again. What can a person do if he is denied bail on a bailable offense?
Okay. One of the things a person can do if denied bail on a bailable offense, if it is at the police station, what one should do, which I think is fast, under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, is to come under Section 32, where you bring an application to court for the court to ask the detaining agency to come and show cause why that person should be under detention. Because if they don't show cause, immediately the court makes an order for your release. Unlike the fundamental rights enforcement, in my own opinion, it takes much longer period for the fundamental rights enforcement to actually come to life. But with this, it is just an application, just a motion, and it saves a lot of time.
That's a brilliant one. You have given the fast and the fast cut and the short cut, if I may say. Thank you for that opinion. On a final note, we will want to have your final thought on the conversation we have generally. Your final thoughts.
It's actually a very good one because citizens are entitled to know these things. And while citizens are entitled to know these things, we also have duties as lawyers to ensure that this information is passed to the appropriate persons. Considering the fact that every day we have people who are suffering from this kind of injustice across the country. Now, lawyers should be able to, let me quickly say, there was this case here in FCTI Court, Zuba. The guy had been in detention for over a year for culpable homicide, punishable with death. You know why he was not released? According to him, he was not released because he could not pay the sum demanded. Meanwhile, others paid. Now, it was the attitude of the prosecution in that case that made my boss decide that, okay, I'm going to do this case for this guy, pro bono, because the prosecution was not serious about it. In less than 3 sittings, I think it was the second sitting, we were able to get a discharge order from the court because they were not serious. Now, these are practically what people face every time. So we have to intensify efforts. We have to liaise with these security agencies because sometimes many of them that do these funny things are not really enlightened about some of the implication of what they are doing. So we have to work as stakeholders in the temple of justice, liaise with them and liaise with citizens so that they know their rights and they know the appropriate steps to take in deserving circumstances.
Thank you so much, Barrister Haruna. And before you go, we have a very important question, and that will be, after you answer the question, then you round it up. The question is, what recommendations do you have or can you make to right groups? We know we have civil rights organizations and activists to stamp out this bail issue and unlawful detentions. Yes, I will repeat the question again. What recommendations can you make to right groups and activists to stamp out this bail issue and unlawful detentions?
Okay, one, all of these groups have to ensure that people are informed about their existence and what they do. I remember being an executive member in the Caliphate Law Clinic. It was one of our mandates to reduce, decongest the prison, the detention houses. Now, it is not for us to get these people out without being tried, but it is an effort to ensure that there is speedy trial. So all these organizations have to liaise with the appropriate bodies on their effort to ensure that, no, we are not saying release these criminals if they are criminals. We are saying that ensure speedy administration of justice, because unfortunately, some of them even get worse when they are kept too long in the prisons. So what I would say to them is that they should liaise with lawyers, liaise with the security agencies to ensure that our prisons are free of innocent persons. If those that are guilty are there, properly tried and convicted, fine. But at least they should sound the alarm to the society and ensure that every hand is on deck to ensure that persons who are innocent do not unnecessarily suffer. Because practically in Nigeria, they don't even get compensation for the suffering.
Oh, thank you so much. Another question, and the final one, please, sorry for taking much of your time, is if I am arrested or invited to police station over a civil case, which they don't have jurisdiction, can a person seek for bail? You know, most times police officers invite you for civil, and from there they will apprehend you. So can a person seek for bail?
Once a person is under the detention of any security agency, you can seek for bail. The question is, will you be granted? That is another thing. But once you are under their detention, the next thing for you is to fight for your freedom. And fighting for your freedom involves you seeking bail, because without it, they are not letting you out. So you can seek for bail, irrespective of the fact that the subject matter of the whole thing is civil in nature. That is a discussion for another time. But secure your freedom first, so you can seek bail.
So thank you so much, Barrister Haruna. And I will be honest with you, I loved my session with you today. And I believe the viewers also do, because you've given fantastic opinions, balanced and well-informed. In summary of all, bail is practically free, is constitutionally free, but practically not free in view of certain circumstances. But it behoves on all citizens to enforce the provisions of law and try as much as possible to avoid desperation, and try as much as possible to enforce the provision of the law to the extent they can, and stand up to their rights to see that they don't pay that fee that's usually demanded by arresting officers. I believe this is the summary of our conversation today. Thank you so much, and I pray and hope that you will be on this platform again in the future. Thank you for your time. And I want to extend our gratitude and appreciation to all the viewers, those who ask questions, and those who have watched, and those who will watch in the future. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day ahead.